Hello, my name is Natalie Shields and I am a writer mainly of young adult fiction novels yet to be published. And today I wanted to talk about my 2020 writing goals. Yes, I am very aware that it's the end of January, but I think it takes me a while to solidify my routine at the beginning of each year to see what goals will actually work for me. So here we go. So my top writing goal of 2020 is to write at least 2,000 words a week. Yes, that number sounds small, probably to like full-time authors, or incredibly big to new authors, but it's a number that I know I can sustain. I have a job where I'm working very random hours and a lot of strange extracurriculars that take up a lot of my time. It makes it sound like I'm like a pole dancer or something. No. I'm an actress. I also work at Disney World. I have just a lot of little things that don't have set schedules. Finding time to write is a priority, but definitely difficult. So 2,000 words a week is the goal. So far, I've been able to maintain that. I'm really happy with it. So my second goal of 2020 for writing is to write the majority of the days in a week. I wanted to write every day, probably like every author in the world, but that's just not possible for where I am in life right now. So I thought if I can write at least 4 out of 7 days, I will be happy. And if I write all 7 days, that'd be fantastic, but like I don't know if that's gonna happen or not. So far, that has been like a 50-50. Like some of the weeks it's been fantastic and some of the weeks not so much. But regardless, I have been hitting those 2,000 words a week, which makes me happy. We're getting there. That's what goals are for. They're not necessarily to achieve every day, but to get to the point where you achieve it every day, you know? Consulting notes. This third goal might seem like it's not actually a writing goal, but let me explain. So my third goal was to read 20 books this year. For someone who works a lot and is kind of constantly moving, it's difficult to sit down and read a book, even though I love it. I used to devour books as a kid. I probably would read over 100 books a year. That is not something that I do much anymore, and it makes me kind of sad. I miss being able to do that. So I'm setting aside specific time to read. Reading really influences your writing. And I think sometimes authors forget that, where they're like, oh, I shouldn't be reading this because I should be writing my own work. I feel like reading is a type of research because you're seeing what other people can do with their words, looking at their different intricacies in literature, and it's just something that's really, it's research. It's research and it's fun, and it just reminds you of what your finished product can be. I also think it's really good for developing ideas. There's this old book that I'm sure you've heard of called Steal Like an Artist. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. But it's about how nothing new really exists. Like every idea that's been thought of has already been done somewhere else. But what the exciting thing is taking that idea, stealing that idea, and making it your own. And that's basically the role of an artist. That's basically the role of an author. So I really enjoy reading books in other genres than what I'm writing, or even sometimes books in the genre I'm writing. And it helps give me ideas for what I can do in my story. And I highly recommend, if you're having some type of writer's block, I don't really believe in writer's block, but that could be a different video. I highly recommend you just stop and read. It'll help. So my fourth goal for 2020 is to connect with more local authors, and specifically more young local authors. I know I look like I'm a literal child, but I am in my mid-20s. I really, really desire a community of writers that are like me. And yes, you can always find them online, and that's fantastic, but I want to be able to meet up with people in person and do write-ins and challenge each other and check up on each other. And so that's something I'm really focused on this year, is finding other authors who I can connect with and build relationships with. And we can just support each other, because community is so important, especially in this writing industry where we sit alone for the majority of what we do. Creating relationships, creating community. It's very important, and that's something I'm very focused on in 2020. And my fifth and my final goal for 2020 as far as writing goes, this year I want to start querying agents, which is scary. I really want to move on to the next step of publishing my book. I would love to be traditionally published. I want to start querying agents and see if anyone's interested in my book and in representing me as an author. That's a scary goal, but you just have to start. And we're starting in 2020. So those are my writing goals for 2020. I'm scared and excited, which in my experience are the two best things to be about goals. I can't wait to get started. This year has already been off to a fantastic start, and I know that me and my novel are in for a lot of growth. What are your 2020 goals? Tell me in the comments below. It's a thing, right? Where we like talk and like connect. Connecting with new authors, 2020, it's a goal. So comment down below like what your writing goals are in 2020. I'm really interested to know. And if you want, I can keep you accountable as long as you keep me accountable too. All right, guys. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this type of content, you should subscribe because that's a thing people do. All right, bye.